Hello, this is Douglas Long and Sunny Navratnam here. Today we are going to talk a little bit about a concept that comes out of neuroscience, and it's about what's called the blue zone and red zone, or the success zone. So it's written in a book which Douglas co-authored called The Success Zone, and which will be available to purchase from our website if you're interested. But I think, Douglas, it'll be good for people to get to know what this extraordinary concept is, because it is something that, if people learn, can give them enormous control over the choices they have in their lives.
That's true. The concept is really extremely simple. One of the things that distinguishes a human child from any other animal is that when a human child is born, in the brain is the potential to be absolutely anything at all. The potential to learn extremely complex things like language, the potential to understand and deal with one's emotions, the potential to grow throughout the entire life is all there. But the basic brain control that a baby has is not all that much different from that of any other animal. As I say, the potential that the brain has within it a lot more than is true in any other baby or infant, but the control is the same, and that basic control is the core of what we call the red zone. This is the part of the brain that is responding in a purely instinctive manner, so that it's caught up in the I feel uncomfortable, I will therefore cry and attract some attention to get some help. And you see that whether you're talking about a puppy or a kitten or a human child. If they're hungry, if they're uncomfortable in any way, shape or form, they do what they can to attract attention of a parent, to get some help and support, and to get that tidied up. Fairly quickly in all babies starts to develop a second part of the brain, what is generally called the limbic area, and this is the area in which relationships start to form. And you see this very, very early in a baby's life, that there is a bonding within days between the baby and the mother. And you see it in other animals as well. There is that bonding very quickly between the very small baby and the mother. And gradually that awareness and relationship with other people and other beings develops and grows. And so now what you've got is a life or a brain control that is still caught up in some very basic instinctive responses, so that if I'm scared, I will run away, or I'll hide, or I'll perhaps try and attack whatever it is that is scaring me. But I will also be relating to other people, and coming out of that also I start to learn from experience, so that I will find that certain things work and certain things don't work, so I will continue to do the things that work. My son came home from work just last week, and he said, one of the guys at work, his baby is 8 months old and said its first word the other day. He came into work quite excited. He said, because the baby had said, da, da, da. He said, obviously the baby is saying dada. And so the baby starts making these sounds, these noises, and the baby finds that certain sounds, certain noises get response from the important people around about, mum and dad, and so they continue to use those, and so the genesis of language starts to come in. And so we're learning from experience. And as we grow and develop, for most people, the brain's locus of control still stays in that primary area. That I'm learning from experience, I'm having whatever life may give me, hopefully a good time for most of us, and a growing time and an enjoyable time. But as well as that, I'm very apprehensive of change. I'm very apprehensive of anything that disturbs my overall equilibrium. And so I will grow and I will learn. Now, the difference between humans and all other animals lies in what neuroscientists call the neocortical area of the brain. And this is a quite thin part of the brain on the outer side of the brain. And it's in this area that higher learning takes place. This is the area that if we learn to tap into it, it enables us to quieten down our apprehension, to quieten down our fears, and to start to take control of things in a different way. Now, we all move into that area at times. For example, you're sitting down reading a good book, and you're concentrating on the book. Instinctively, you have moved into that blue zone area. You're not caught up with too many other things. You might be with friends, or you might be sitting in front of a nice fire, relaxing with friends or family, and it's just a peaceful, quiet, relaxing area. That's an element of the neocortical higher learning piece coming into control. What we have found is that if people are really going to continue to grow and to develop throughout their lives, and if people are going to fully reach their potential, the important thing is to consciously shift your brain's locus of control out of this, if you like, baby or reptilian limbic area of control, which isn't a bad area. It's just that it's not totally adequate for lots of the things that we face in life, into this neocortical limbic area, which starts to give us a greater awareness, open our lives to far more options, help us to see reality in a far more realistic way than in a very narrow confine. And that's really what third generation leadership is about. It's about helping us make that shift across, understand it, and helping us to generate that shift or facilitate that shift in other people, so that we start to become a lot more creative, a lot more productive, and tapping into energies that we never knew we had before.
Yes, awesome. It's really simple if you really think about it. Of course, it's complicated to implement it.
True.
Given the fact that I think in most of our life, and if you really look at our civic structures and laws and schooling systems and even our conversations and the way we address our language, it seems very oriented towards control from the red zone rather than control from the blue zone. So I guess sometimes we got to do a bit of an unwinding to really get to and then relearning, sort of unlearning, relearning kind of exercise. But the good news is I think there's a lot of sophisticated techniques which allow you to do that pretty quickly and pretty rapidly.
And they're pretty simple, most of them. They're sophisticated, but they're simple.
Yeah. The greatest sophistication is the fact that they're simple, and they're simple to use by anybody. Anybody who can kind of walk, talk, or eat or listen will be able to do this.
Yep.
So it's something that's really interesting. If you want to look around at your life and maybe at the organization, you can ask yourself, is this a red zone organization or a blue zone organization? Is this a red zone life that you're leading, or is it a blue zone life? Most of us lead some kind of mixture, but ask yourself where the control is, for most of it, the critical times. Now that's a really interesting place for you to have a look. Please give us your comments. We'd love to hear from you. And we look forward to talking to you very soon. Thank you for listening.